What up, nomads? In this video, I'm taking you with me on my 8-hour solo day trip to Macau, the special administrative region in the Pearl River Delta. From its origins as a Portuguese trading post in the 16th century to its return to Chinese sovereignty in 1999, Macau has served as a melting pot of Eastern and Western influences, shaping its unique identity as a vibrant global hub of commerce and culture. Since this is a packing channel, let me show you what I took with me. First, I chose a roomy, lightweight nylon purse. Then I packed my sunglasses, a compact hat, a reusable shopping tote, my wallet, my passport, very important, a backup battery and charging cable, my AirPods, a pouch that has like medicine and band-aids and hand sanitizer in it, and this small DJI phone gimbal for better panoramic shots. I traveled to Macau from Hong Kong, which could not have been easier. From my apartment in New Territories, I took the bus and subway, called MTR there, to the port, and walked through a mall to get to the ferry ticket booth. The TurboJet ferries run pretty often, so you just go, purchase your ticket, and they book you for the next one, or the one of your choice. Even if you've just missed one, since the ticket booth is in a mall, you can easily purchase your ticket and then take the extra time that you're waiting to grab a snack, use the restroom, and do a little shopping. Once you're in the waiting area for the ferry, you'll be assigned your seat, and then they announce when it's time to board. I would say I was a little disappointed that very few seats on the ferry have a view of the outside. This isn't like a pleasure craft, it's more utilitarian. And you do need to wear a seatbelt if the wind picks up and the ride gets bumpy. But overall, the ferry is fast, comfortable, and inexpensive. At arrival in Macau, you need to go through customs. As a Canadian, there wasn't much I needed to do. No visas, no applications or anything. But depending on your nationality, you're going to want to check if you need to do anything special in advance. Macau is a small territory covering an area of approximately 32.9 square kilometers or 12.7 square miles. Despite its compact size, Macau is densely populated and is known for its vibrant urban landscape, historic sites, and bustling casino scene. It has a population of about 800,000 people, but about 2.6 million people come to Macau as tourists every month. After exiting the ferry terminal, I decided to grab a cab because I didn't have time to waste and my first destination was at the base of Guia Hill in Guia Municipal Park. The kind driver dropped me off as high as he was allowed to go and I went on foot the rest of the way up to the fortress at the top of Guia Hill. The Guia fortress, constructed between 1622 and 1638, was built to defend Macau from naval attacks and is one of the oldest Western-style fortresses in East Asia. It's also full of secret tunnels. The fortress offers panoramic views of the city and the harbor, making it a great spot for sightseeing and photography, and a great place for me to visually plot out where I was going next. Within the Guia Fortress complex, you'll find the Guia Lighthouse, built in 1864. It's the oldest modern lighthouse on the Chinese coast, and has been a crucial navigational aid for ships entering the Pearl River. The most fun way to get down from the Guia Hill is the cable car, which is such a fun way to get a view of the city and drops you down in the perfect place to continue sightseeing. I stopped for an iced coffee and used this opportunity to get some Macanese pataka for the day. In Macau, they will accept Hong Kong dollars, but will give pataka as change, so I just broke a bill to get iced coffee and used the change for other treats later. Because of Macau's history as a Portuguese port, a lot of the street names are in Portuguese. As a tourism hub, most people do speak some English, and in a pinch, since I speak French and Spanish, I could understand most things written in Portuguese. Next stop, after some meandering and popping into small shops, I stopped at Pau Kung Temple. They don't know exactly when it was built, but historians think sometime during the Qing dynasty. I didn't stay long because, like many Buddhist temples I visited in Asia, the incense is pretty intense. It's calming and beautiful, but very smoky. A quick reminder that Macau is very small and walkable, so it was easy for me to walk next to the Monte Fort, a part of the historic center of Macau and a typical example of a 17th century Portuguese fortress. Today, it houses the Macau Museum, which opened in 1998. Admission was free the day I visited, and it was a nice place to cool down and read about the complex and interesting history of Macau. Next, I was off to one of Macau's most famous landmarks, the ruins of St. Paul, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In fact, the whole historic center is made up of 20 locations that are all part of the UNESCO Heritage Site. This original structure was built between 1602 and 1640 by Jesuit priests and was initially the Church of Mater Dei, along with St. Paul's College. The church and the college were sadly destroyed by a fire during a typhoon in 1835, leaving only the stone facade and the grand staircase leading up to it. From there, I walked to Senado Square, a bustling area full of shops, all somewhat selling the same things, like the local meat jerky, which is influenced by the Guangdong province style. I will say, if you're looking for a foodie's guide to Macau, this video is not it. Although there are plenty of amazing restaurants that combine Portuguese and Cantonese cuisines, I was more often stopping for beverages than I was for food on this day trip, so I don't have too many personal recommendations. By this time, I needed to plot my next move, which was to Taipa, a hip neighborhood with all sorts of cute shops and home of the Taipa flea market. I got a crushed lemon iced tea while I waited for the bus, a beverage I had so many times in Asia, and I think about often now that I'm back in Canada. There was a city bus that took me exactly where I needed to go and crossed over the Governor Nobre de Cavallo Bridge. Once I got there, I was finally starting to feel hungry, and I had the famous egg sandwich from the Sea Café and had a moment to rest. Then I saw an opportunity to visit the famous Lord Stow's bakery where there was no line and got one of their renowned pastéis de nata. I love these so much, and I don't think I tasted a big difference from the ones I had in Lisbon. Or maybe I just love them all and think they're all delicious, because what's not to love about caramelized sugar and eggy custard in a flaky crust? By this time, I was starting to lose steam, and I already knew some things would just be out of reach for me, given my energy levels and the time of day. I wasn't interested in the Macau Tower, and it was kind of pricey to go all the way to the top. And the beaches of Coloane were all the way down south and didn't seem like something I would want to see after the sun had set, but I had to see the Macau equivalent of the Vegas Strip, which is the Kotai Strip, with a detour by Villa de Taipa on the way. And the one casino I decided to go to was the biggest, the Venetian. I mean, look at it on a map. Macau is dubbed the gambling capital of the world, or Monte Carlo of the East. While Vegas is bigger by number of casinos and square miles, Macau's gambling revenue far exceeds that of Las Vegas. I perused the gambling areas but was not allowed to film, and then went to the shopping area, which is as kitsch as you'd expect from a model Venetian canal. Before leaving, I stopped at the Aesop store, and the lovely staff there told me about the free casino shuttle that would take me all the way back to the ferry. So by 7 p.m., I made my way there, got to the ferry terminal, bought my ticket, and it's worth noting the ferries become less frequent and more expensive at night, so don't wait too long to plot your trip home. It took me about 3 hours to get home if you add the ferry, the customs in Hong Kong, the MTR, and the bus ride all the way back to our apartment in New Territories. I was tired, but I was very happy with my day and can cross Macau off my bucket list. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Happy travels.